All right, so you might be the first time you've ever been here. So what is a BZ principle? So first of all, what is BZ? Bravo Zulu is just something from the Navy. It's two flags that they use for communication. It means extremely well done. All right, so what we want to do is provide you with timely and timeless leadership topics that will inspire and demand. So I want to inspire you, but I also want to demand that you engage in intentional conversation. I don't want you just to hear it and do nothing with it. I want you to engage in it. And then I want to make sure that this timely and timeless information can equip you, but it can engage you to be change agents for Jesus Christ. Because you'll notice in our world is desperately crying for somebody to step up and lead. And people don't know what leadership is. They think it's, well, I've got a position, now I'm a leader. It's more about service than anything. It's serving. So leadership in your family, it's serving your family. In your church, it's serving your family. In your residence halls, it's serving the people that you live with. That's leadership. So that's what we're doing here with Bravo Zulu Principles. So that's what it's all about. So we're going to go through the topic of innovation this morning. And I'm going to provide for you at the end of this, I'm going to send you a PDF of all these PowerPoints. So if you want to write it down, good on you. If you don't and you just want to wait, that's cool as well. So, because we're going to go pretty quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I want to give us some times for questions at the end. But let's start with innovation. So let me give you, well, before we do this, let me go back and say this. Innovation today in our business world, and that's my major, that's what I teach sometimes in the School of Business. Innovation is a buzzword. It's like, you need to be innovative. Where's your innovation? How are you doing? Everybody wants it. Everybody demands it. But few organizations and few people really understand what it is. So what I want to do this morning is kind of take you through what we think innovation will be. Now, is this the absolute truth or the only way that you can look at innovation? No, this is my perspective on innovation, and it's one that I think is grounded very deeply in our belief that we do everything to glorify God and bring Him praise. Okay, so innovation. Here's the definition. It's creating value for others by striving for excellence. So let me break that definition down in two things. It's creating value for others. So when you're innovative, you're creating value. That means you know the people that you're serving, and you're not satisfied with just the product that you have or the service that you have. You're creating value. You're not doing it for your kingdom. You're doing it for their value. And the last part of that definition is striving for excellence. We say this a lot. Perfection's a myth. You'll never be able to be perfect. Sorry. You'll never be able to be perfect, so all you could do is strive for excellence. You cannot control the results, but you can control the effort that you put in. So innovation is creating value for others by striving for excellence. Now, innovation's a journey. You probably have heard the phrase that the journey is more important than the destination. When you have your eye on, we'll say that you're trying to make coffee at Renova, and if you have your eye on, I've got to get this coffee drink out. I've got to get it done. There's a timer right here. I'm not done in 3 minutes. They're going to fire me. That's not the case. But they're going to fire me. I got to get this drink out. If you're focused on the end result instead of what's going on right there, you'll miss the opportunity to engage with the customer. Now think about that even in your residence halls. If you're so focused on getting your homework done that you close yourself up in your room, you might be missing an opportunity when somebody needs you. So innovation is a journey. It's all about what's going on the next step. If you focus on the end, the other problem with that is, does our world change? Yes. Our world change, expectations change, technology changes, and if it's all about the end destination, like I'm going to retire when I'm 55, you're going to miss all the other opportunities maybe with family and friends along the way. So innovation is a journey. The next one, it requires the proper perspective. What I mean by this is if your eyes are focused on the wrong thing, you really can't create value for others. If it's all about you, you can't create value for others. You were called, you were created, and you are demanded to be innovative. And you're demanded to be excellent. The verse that I want to share with you is this, is Matthew 5:16. In the same way, let your light so shine before others. Let's stop there. Does it say may your light or maybe we'll shine our light? What does it say? What's the word? It's an action. It's let. There's no option. It's let your light so shine before others so that they could see you and give you praise. No, but it says so they could see your good works, because God did equip you and gift you so they can see your good works, but it's all about bringing glory to God. In a nutshell, that is an innovation passage right there. That's creating value for others by striving for excellence. So, I always like to give an example, and it's probably going to be no surprise that the example that I'm going to use for our last BZ Principles of the School Year is something about Disney. All right, so Walt Disney used to say this about Disneyland. He said, Disneyland will never be completed. It will continue to grow as long as there's imagination in the world. So he used to tell people, a movie's simple. You put the film in a can, the movie's done. But Disney will never be done. So I'm going to break down some of the things because I believe that Disney innovates probably better than most organizations out there. And I'm going to break it down by what things they continue, what things they conclude, and what things they create. So I'm going to start with the rides. Every year, a ride goes down. I don't know if you've ever been to Disney and you show up and your favorite ride's right there. One of my favorite rides is Splash Mountain. Never show up in the winter. They don't have winters down there, but never show up in December and January because Splash Mountain is always down for refurbishment. Or there's been times I've been there and Pirates of the Caribbean's down. Or other rides are down. Like right now, the Speedway there at Magic Kingdom is down because they're building a Tron coaster. All those things are down. That's called refurbishment. They're always looking, how do we make it better? How do we change things? How do we continually improve? The next one is conclude. Has any of you ever heard of Mr. Toad's Ride? That was my favorite ride when I was a kid at Magic Kingdom. It's not there anymore. They replaced it with the stupid Winnie the Pooh ride. But the whole idea is that was my ride, but they got rid of it because they knew the Winnie Pooh story had a lot more traction. Now, what have they created? Well, if you've been to Animal Kingdom in the last 2 years, they've created this ride that takes about 4 hours to get through it because the line is always so long. It's called the Flight of Passage of Avatar. They've created that. They've created stuff because they see the benefit of it. Now they're also building new parks. So let's look at this from the park perspective. What things have they continued? Well, the Magic Kingdom and Disneyland has continued since 1950 and 1971. What things have they concluded? Has any of you ever heard of River Country or Discovery Island? If you sit at the Contemporary and look across the Bay Lake, you'll see this island that looks completely run down. It was Discovery Island. It was an animal refuge. So they built Animal Kingdom and closed Discovery Island. They concluded stuff. Now, what things are they creating right now? Well, they're creating stuff like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which opens in California this summer and in the fall in Florida. So Disney's looking at things, innovation all the way. And the one example I really want to share with you is when I first went to Disney for the Disney Institute, this was my ticket, and this was my room key as well. Now you go, and you've got these things. And this gets you into your room, this gets you into the park, this gets you your fast passes. But you know what else that does? That's your credit card. Why do you think Disney did that? Because Disney knows their customers so well that, man, if they don't have to carry their wallet and all they have to do is go doot doot, they're going to spend a lot more money. Now, it's creating value for Disney. Well, now let's just say Disney's a money-making company. Let's just get that out of the way. They're not a Christian company. They're a money-making company, so it's about that. But they've listened to their customers, and they've been innovative. So I give you that as an example, so that kind of gives us a launching pad to jump and talk about the things we want to talk about. So innovation, remembering this, is creating value for others by striving for excellence. Here's some things that it is and it's not. So the first one, journey, it is. It's not a destination. The next one, curiosity. When you're innovative, you're curious, right? What if? What if we did this? Why were we doing this? You're not complacent. Response versus reaction. When you respond, you've thought through it. It's intentional. When you react, it's like, holy cow, the coffee just overflowed today. What do I do? That's a reaction. Effort versus perfection. You can put effort in, but you can't be perfect. Collaborative versus silo. So innovative is collaborative, working together. It's not going, how do I make this work for me? And the last one is courage, not fear. When you respond out of fear, you're not being innovative, you're being protective. You're like, I've got to protect my own, so I'm reacting out of fear. When you have courage, that's the change to be innovative. So let's look at an innovative perspective. What I mean by perspective is how you see the world. So my perspective is the foundation that fuels my passions, my desires. So that's all my perspective. So my foundation provides me the foundation for focus and clarity, and the other thing I would look at, so it provides me focus, clarity, and then also direction. So that's what a perspective is. So let's look at this. Why do we do innovation? It's called continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is intentional, stable, active, and creative. Look at those 4 words. It's intentional. Doesn't just happen. It's stable. It's something that we've thought through. It's not like, oh my goodness, what do we do today? It's stable. It's active. It's continual. And it's creative. And you're trying to change and improve. So let's look at the 4 things that I think that your perspective ought to be when it comes to innovation. It's got to be mission-driven, your identity. You've got to know your who and your why. If I want to change things and make things better, I better know my who and my why, and I better know my organization's who and my why. Because if I don't know who Cedarville is all about and I try to be innovative, I could be innovative in the wrong way, and that's not innovative because that's not creating value for others. So mission-driven. Customer-focused, I got to know my customer. There's a phrase that we use, it's called servology, meaning you serve by knowing the people who you are supposed to serve. So I'm serving people by knowing them. I've got to be willing to take time and look at a compass, and I've got to say, okay, what does the customer need? What do they want? What are their attitudes and what are their perceptions? Now let's just put this thing to rest right away. The word customer is not a bad thing. The word customer just means I'm investing in you, you're investing in me. That is the true definition of a customer. It's not financial. It's investment for benefit. So a customer is not bad. So we're looking at their insights, so the compass, where are they, what do they need from us, and then we're also trying to decide what's the approach. And that's how I want you to think, how I want you to feel, and how I want you to respond. I'm engaging you in a story now. I'm taking you on a journey. So when you come to an event or you're a part of our team, I want you to know that Campus Experience cares about you. I want you to know that. I want you to think that. I want you to feel valued. I want you to feel communicated with. I want you to feel listened to. And I want you to respond in a way that you trust our process. And then you're an active and authentic promoter of what happens at the university. That's because we've done all the work to know who you are. So it's customer focused. Awareness, you've got to be aware or learning of what's going on around you. So find the need before the need finds you. So with awareness, I'm evaluating stuff. Evaluation is not bad. Evaluation is integrity because it's saying, okay, this is who I said I was going to be. Am I really who I said I was going to be? Excuse me. Evaluation is service. When I evaluate what's going on, I'm serving other people. So when I see that and I'm aware of what's going on, it gives me the ability to course correct. It gives me the ability to go, okay, that didn't work. How do I change that? And the last one is integrative thinking, is mix it up. Mix it up a little bit. Don't take the first option. The first option is not always the best option. Look around. Look for connections. Look for connections with people. Look with connections with ideas. Come up with a new idea. That's integrative thinking. So when you look at this, the 4 words that are right there, mission-driven takes courage. Customer focus takes empathy. Awareness means that you're a learner and you've got your head up. You're not looking down in your phone, walking across campus. You've got your head up, looking around, going, where can I serve? What can I do? And an integrative thinking is you're not willing to take the first option. You're willing to wrestle with it. All right? So that's the perspective. If you have that perspective of innovation and you go to IBM or you go to Disney or you go teach or you go to grad school, you're going to be able to walk into that organization and go, first of all, do I know the organization? Do I know who they serve? Am I aware of what's going on around me? And am I willing to come up with new ideas? That's going to make you invaluable, and that's going to give you a platform to share the gospel with others because they're going to go, why in the world does this rookie have more innovation than somebody that's been there for 5 to 10 years. I think the reason why people are not innovative is not because they're stupid, it's because their perspective's wrong. Our perspective is always focused on the person who created us, and he created us to be excellent. So, I give you a little bit of an approach, and we're going to end with this. I gave you a little bit of an approach at the beginning when I did continue, conclude, and create. So I want to walk through that real quick. Continue means continuous improvement. This is one of the hardest things to do. When something really works, to continue something that works and to improve it takes a lot of work. We analyze things on, like, it's called a touch point analysis, and it's like red, bad, yellow, good, green, wow, we knocked it out of the park. But the problem is, to keep a green is really hard because now you got to think of new ways to make that green better. It's easy to move from red to yellow or yellow to green. To keep it on green takes a lot of work and a lot of courage because it's continuous improvement. One that's extremely hard is to conclude because we live in a world, well, we've always done it that way. I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, so I'm not going to cancel that program. Concluding is part of it. There is times that there's an end to a service. There's a book out by Dr. Henry Cloud called Necessary Endings. And it's the whole idea that you have to be willing to say, it's been a success, mission accomplished, we need to conclude it, and we move it away. You notice that word doesn't say cancel. There's a difference between the word cancel and conclude. Cancel just means pull the plug, you're done. Conclude means how do we work our way out of the situation and transition people to the next situation. Because if I kill an event at Cedarville and some of you love it, and I just cancel it like that, that's going to get everybody a little bit worked up. I've got to conclude that and bring you along so that I've not caused too much stress on you. So that's why we use the word conclude. And the last one is create. And that's the fun one. And that's the one we all want to do, but the problem is if we keep creating new things and new things and new things, your portfolio goes from a manageable portfolio to this thing that's like the library of portfolios. And you can't do that. So when you look at that, continue takes a lot of work. A lot of work. It takes courage. To conclude something, you got to be okay with hurting people's feelings. You've got to be okay with not being the most popular because you're not always going to be liked. There are times I have to conclude things because it's the right thing for the organization. But you don't just do it and cancel it and then say, I hope they like it. You talk about it, and then you have to make the hard decision. And create, that just takes, you got to dream a little bit. But sometimes the creation phase takes the longest because if you do it right, you've thought through all the things going, okay, do we really need something new or do we just really need to improve something that we have? So that's the perspective is mission-driven, customer-focused, awareness, and integrative thinking. An approach I use is continue, conclude, and create. I've heard this continue, conclude, create from Dr. Henry Cloud. That's where one of the ideas you've heard. There's a book out. I share with you Necessary Endings. But then also another book out called The 3-Box Approach. And it's the whole idea of innovation and how do you make things change. So, in conclusion, innovation is creating value for others by striving for excellence. And let me tell you this. There's a quote I'm going to give you, and I'm going to give you another one here at the end. But Walt Disney used to always say, you can build, create, and design the most beautiful place in the world, but it takes people to make it a reality. The only way that we can be innovative is if every single person in this room does it. It doesn't rely on me being innovative because I'm the leader. I need you to be innovative to force me to think of new ideas. Innovation is something that you were created, called, and expected to do because God created you to be excellent. Innovation's a journey. We talked about that. It's not the destination, and it requires the proper perspective. Jim Elliot, you might remember him as a missionary to the Indians and was killed for his faith. And he said this, he said, God forgive me for being so ordinary and claiming to know an extraordinary God. Why are we satisfied with ordinary? I love the Disney company. I think they do it better than anybody. You know, I think that they, like you look at other amusement parks, you charge $50 to go there and they charge $125 to go there. Most hotels down there charge $200 a night. They can charge $1,000 a night. I want to know why in the world a secular company can do innovation better than the church. And I'm ashamed that sometimes that's how it happens. And I don't want to be that way. I want to be somebody that's innovative, not because of what glory it brings me, but the glory it brings God, because I serve an extraordinary God. So that's what innovation is. All right?